What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, all right. So I don't think I need to go into a preamble at the beginning of this video discussing the backstory to this. I think all of you know what happened on Saturday. But in case you were living under a rock, or you're just coming out of that coma from taking the beating of your life, for doing something you weren't supposed to be doing, on Saturday afternoon, former President Donald Trump, seeking the presidency, was campaigning in Butler, Pennsylvania, when he became the apparent victim, and unfortunately, 3 other bystanders in the crowd, the victim of an attempted assassination of the former president. He was nicked by a bullet in the ear. Unfortunately, I think that bullet that nicked him in the ear hit a bystander in the crowd. 2 other people were hit as well. One died almost instantaneously. He was hit in the head. I think it's been reported now that that man was a firefighter, and he was shielding his family. He was shielding his family from the gunfire. And unfortunately, he was hit in the head, and he probably was killed almost immediately. 2 other people were seriously wounded. Last I checked, they were still alive, but fighting for their lives in a local hospital. The shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was taken out by a Secret Service sniper. And there's a lot of outcry now about the quality of protection that the former president was receiving. And I think I'll touch on that on a Patreon video immediately after this particular video on YouTube. But the question I'm asking is a rhetorical one, because I think we all know, most of us, why they're not using that terminology that I have in the title. But it's still, I'm making a point here. Why are they not calling it that? Why are they not calling it that? It's beyond me, right? But we know why they're not doing it, because it doesn't fit the profile. If this had been Ahmed, Jabali, Shamali, I don't know, and he had the traditional garb on, that term be said all over the local news media, the national news media, independent media, social media. It'd be everywhere. Even if it was an American named Jamal instead of Thomas, if his name was Jamal Crooks and his skin tone was different, even if he was American born, they would probably be using that term more. But they're not using it for him. As a matter of fact, you can make an argument, they're making excuses for him now. Well, he was bullied. Because, with certain people, you always got to make an excuse as to why that they're behaving the way they're behaving, or why they did what they did. This isn't something we normally see in people like him. Must be an explanation for why this kid went wrong. That has to be an explanation for why a good old American kid like him went wrong. But Jamal or Mahogany, they're just evil. They're evil doers, as the former president once put it. People like them are evil doers. They're the scum of society. They're born that way. Some of them you can, you can mold them into being better forms of scumbags, but you still can't trust them all the way. It's in their DNA to do bad-ish. You can't trust them all the way like you can, your own kind. But, this kid, somebody, some influence. So now they're saying that he was bullied. Well, so was virtually millions and millions of people around the world, and we've turned out perfectly fine. I was even bullied. Comes with the territory. That's when I was a little fat kid. It happens. It happens. That's not an excuse to do what he did. But let's look at the definition of domestic you know what. Let's look at the definition. The U.S. federal government defines domestic you know what as, quote, violent criminal acts committed by individuals or groups within the United States to further ideological goals. The goals are often political, religious, social, racial, or environmental in nature, and the acts are intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or influence the government. DT can also involve mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping. I think this definitely covers assassination, and it appears that this young man hated Donald John Trump and the Republicans. So therefore, why is he not being called a domestic you know what? Because I know full and well that if the shoe was on the other foot and this was Joe Biden, which I hope would never happen, I just want him to get the hell out of office. I don't want anything to happen to him. But if something like this had happened to Joe Biden by one of the others, this would definitely be called that by the media. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. You know, just to put it out there, man, the news coverage today is absolutely abysmal. CNN, although I thought they were by default the better of the three networks, CNN wouldn't call it what it was until you saw the blood. First, and then they started seeing the not just the blood. Excuse me. When they started confirming that there was gunfire. First, they were saying that Trump failed. MSNBC wouldn't even call it a shooting for a long time. They just said an incident happened or loud bangs were heard. They wouldn't say it was a shooting. Fox News, my goodness, man, they try to make this man into Jesus Christ. Literally. They try to make this man into George Washington, Abe Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, and Ronald Reagan all at one time. Nauseating. You got to go overseas. You got to listen to like BBC News or Australian News or whatever the F to get accurate reporting that's not slanted or biased. Just reporting what happened. Or as Joe Friday said, just the facts. That's all I want, just the facts. I don't need all this other BS. I know you don't like him, or I know you worship the guy. Just give me the news. But you know, being fair, like I said, not taking sides. Just as an aside, what happened? What happened at this situation to even cause that? There's a lot of suspicious stuff going on, man. I'm just gonna say this. How in the world was he allowed to get on top of the roof with a bag? And apparently, from according to reports, a police officer finally approached this kid. The dude pulled a gun, pointed at him, pointed the rifle at the police officer. He goes down, sort of like reminds me of the Uvalde school, the situation in Uvalde, Texas, when the police officers were too cowardly to go into the classroom and stop the carnage. It's funny. These police officers go around and kick the hell out of U.S. citizens that's unarmed, bully the hell out of people like that, like us. But when it comes to situations where you're really getting paid to do, you don't want to do that, coward. But anyway, The Secret Service was on the radios, on their walkie-talkies, saying that they saw what was going on. If they saw that, why didn't they shut it down? I think two things were, I kind of want to say it's the same reason why Dylan Roof was taken to go to Burger King after he butchered 9 parishioners that happened to be black. I want to say it has something to do with that, the hesitation. You know what I mean by that? The hesitation, because, they can envision this as some kid that could just be, I want to say it's that, but then I'm also, I'm not going to say it on YouTube. I'll talk on the Patreon video. But yeah, why is it not being called this, man? This is exactly what that was. This is exactly what that was. But anyway, I don't want to make this video too long. Tell me what you guys think.